Okay, this is Excel Chapter 1 Video Lesson 3, and what we're going to do on this chapter is we're going to actually look at formatting our spreadsheets. So we had started a demo file that we saved with our name on the file, and in that demo file we use the sum function to total the rows. We also use the fill handle to fill down, and then we also use the sum function to total each column and the fill handles to fill right. So in this lesson we're going to look at formatting our spreadsheet to give it some ambiance, and we're going to also look at making some of the functions appear evenly on the spreadsheet. So in the ribbon, the home ribbon, we're going to click on cell A1. Now remember, the cell that you click on is the active cell. So wherever you click, in this case L10, that is my active cell. The active cell is ready for input or editing. So I want you to click on the cell A1, which is the intersection of column A and row 1. And we're going to activate that cell by clicking on it. And then we're going to click on the Cell Styles button on the ribbon. In our style gallery here, we have different cell styles. We're going to point to the title and headings. And in the title and heading area of the Cell Styles gallery, we're going to see a live preview. As we hover over these, you can see these previews change. So you have a live preview of what they look like in your cell style. And we are going to actually choose the title cell style to apply. So when you hover over these, we're looking for title. And here's my title cell style. So we're going to choose that to apply that on your row 1, the active cell A1. So to change the font type, we're going to click on cell A2 to make the cell A2 active. And that is your first quarter Rockets MP3 sales. We're going to click the font box arrow on the ribbon to display the font gallery. And hopefully we'll be able to find the Cambria font and choose the Cambria. In our font themes, we want to change the font type of the worksheet, subtitle, and cell A2 from Calibri to Cambria. So make sure this has Cambria there. I was looking to see if we need to change the size, but I'm not seeing. So let's go ahead and bold that. With A2 still active, we're going to click on the bold button. With cell A2 still selected, we're going to click the font size now and then change it to 14. So 14 points. And then we're going to click the font color button on the ribbon on your floating toolbar, or if you don't see that, here's your font color button right here. And we're going to change the color palette to the dark blue text 2, which is this color right here, to match our font so it's even with the title of cell A1. Okay, to enter cell entries across a column, we need to merge cells. Now, in our spreadsheet, we're clicking on A1, and it's actually formatting this data because what's in A1 is right here, walk and write music. And even though it looked like B1 has information in it, when I activate B1, we can see in our formula bar there's nothing in it. So what was typed in A1 is spilling over the cell boundaries, and so it may look like cell B1, C1, and D1 have information in it, but in all actuality, when you look at the formula bar, they do not. All that text is in cell A1. So a good rule of thumb is when you have content like that is to merge the contents of your cells. So we're going to highlight A1 through G1. This is what we call a range of cells when we're highlighting adjacent cells together. And we're going to use our merge and center button to merge that information across the title of the cells. We're going to do the same thing for row 2. A2 through G2 is the range, merge and center, and that will center our titles across the cells. So now when I click on A1, you notice in my box here, this is the name box of the cell that I have selected. Even if I were to click on G1, it still says I'm in the A1 box. So to activate the cell in that row, I'm activating A1 because it has been merged and centered. For row 2, however, it would be A2 that is activated. Let's click on cell A3. Right now there's no content in cell A3, but we're going to click and drag through cell G3 so that we have that range of cells selected. We're going to click on our Cell Styles button again in the gallery to display our gallery. And we are going to point to heading 3, which is right here. And we're going to choose that heading to format our cells. Click on A9 right here. And we're going to go back to our cells A9 through G9. So highlight the range A9 through G9. And in our cells gallery, we're going to use the total feature in that titles and headings gallery to give us a ruling. Now let me talk a little bit about accounting here. Usually when you have accounting, a double line rule, such as the bottom of cell rows 9, A9 through G9, this double rule line says that this table balances. So it's almost representing like an equal sign, that double line, and going across that whole table, saying somewhere in this table something is balanced. Well, what is actually balanced is if you total up the G4 through the G8 range, or you total up the B9 through the F9, you get this total. So there is a balance going on in this spreadsheet. Okay, we're going to select cell B4 and select B4 through G4. And we're going to point to the accounting number format button, which is this button right here. This is our accounting number format button. With this button, we can do a variety of things. We can change our language. We can add our dollar sign to this. And usually the first row of a spreadsheet, you want to have the dollar sign. Notice it also included the comma and the decimal point for the cents. So the counting format button allows us to do that. We're going to select it B5 through G8. So B5 through G8 in this range. And what we're going to do is click the comma style button, which is right here. And the comma style actually allows us to put a comma in the thousands place. So the effect that the comma style has causes the cells to display with 2 decimal places and a comma as the thousands separator. Click the accounting format button on the ribbon to apply the counting number format to cells B9 through G9. Okay, so let's go ahead and update our save. So file, save, so we don't lose any of our contents. And now what we're going to do is we're going to work with the width of the cells. We're going to point to the boundary of the right of the column A heading to row 1 to change the mouse pointer to a split double arrow. And what that means is right here, when I click on the boundary of this column heading, I get that split double arrow. If I double click on that boundary, and this is a skill that you have to be exact right on, double click, notice how that column widened, so it was just enough width to fill the most largest content of that column. We're going to use the name box to select a cell. So we're going to click up here in our name box, and we're going to type A3 and then hit enter. What that did is it moved our active cell to wherever we named. So A3, enter, and now we have A3 selected. On our spreadsheet, we're getting to select cells, and one of the ways you can select a cell is to click. Another is to use the name box. Other ways that you can select cells is to use the Alt Page Down command, which selects one worksheet window to the right. Alt Page Up selects the worksheet to the left. Your arrows on your keyboard sometimes will allow you to move cells left and right or up and down. If you use the Control Home function, that takes you to your A1 cell or the home place of your spreadsheet. You can use the Find feature, which is Control F, to find and replace information in your cell. You can use your home button to go to the top. You can use the name box, and you can use the page up and page down arrows to navigate in your worksheet. So there are many ways to move around in your worksheet. I would suggest that you try those features. Okay, so in this lesson, we formatted our headings, our subheadings, our column headings. One thing we did not do is we did not center these column headings. So let's go ahead and center those. We did an accounting feature on our first row. We did a total line feature on our bottom row, and we also did the comma separators in this lesson. In the next lesson, we will look at adding a 3D cluster column chart to the worksheet. So update your save, and this will end lesson 3.